Every small choice adds up to something greater. So bring your bags back, and we'll make a real impact together. Foster's, better because we care.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it. For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Conner.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Conner.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd day of April 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. 1 week, 7 days away from Election Day. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, not too busy these past few days since school is out. But if you are on our roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a happy belated birthday. And to remind you that, For the Record, birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And also by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just to visit yumcayman.ky for more information. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. And we again want to mention our colleagues here at Radio Cayman, DJ Lynn. Welcome back home, DJ Lynn. And also Mr. Joel Wilson. Big shout out to Mr. Wilson as well. And as usual, we wish a speedy recovery, and I believe that Mr. Joel Wilson is back on island as well. So big shout out to both DJ Lynn and Mr. Joel Wilson as well. So, folks, I'm going to dispense with my other comments this morning just to concentrate again. And if you listened yesterday afternoon on Talk Today, I did mention this. But one of our listeners has written and said, "Dear OC, please let's talk about this. As a fellow cyclist has been killed by a drunk driver, it could have been us as we cycled the same road when the accident happened. Condolences to the family. Rest in peace, Per." The tragic death of Per, a fellow cyclist, Monday morning in Bordentown by a drunken driver prompted me to ask you to please help us to spread this message. 1. Family members and friends, don't let anyone from your party drive a car if they have been drinking more than they should have. 2. Bartenders, restaurant managers, hotel managers, please instruct your employees to don't let anyone leave the premises drunk. The life they save may be their own or a family member as well. And we need to talk more about this. And unfortunately, interest wraps up when a fatality occurs, and that is really the sad part. That we need to continue to talk about this. I'm not a lawyer, but we need to look at our laws. We seem to be very, very generous, extremely generous about issuing liquor licenses to establishments, including, or not, I should put it this way, no longer restricted to bars and liquor stores. Let's put it that way. And as a result of that, people need to be held responsible if you are dispensing alcohol. So maybe all of those 58 candidates out there may want to talk about putting legislation on our books that places some form of liability on those establishments or individuals who dispense liquor, as well. So with that, we're going to look at the birthday shout-outs before we go to our commercial break, because we do have paid segments coming up as well, individuals from the Cayman Islands National Party. So we see where today David Corey is celebrating his birthday. Yesterday, Dwayne Stevenson celebrated his birthday. Also, Patrick Schmidt celebrated his birthday. And one of Radio Cayman's own, former Radio Cayman DJ or host, Mr. Orville Daniels, celebrated his birthday yesterday as well. Upcoming birthdays, Sterling Ebanks celebrating birthday tomorrow, as well as Loretta Grizel also celebrating a birthday tomorrow. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. All you have to do is visit yumcayman.ky for more information. With those words, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, we will have guests in the studio as well as on the phone lines from the Cayman Islands National Party. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Spurgeon Andrew Ebanks, OBE, JP, 1914 through 1994. Spurgeon Ebanks served as headmaster in the government schools in North Side, Spot Bay in Cayman Brac, and West Bay from 1935 to 1946. He went to sea for a period of 6 years, returning home to manage his business in West Bay. He served as the sub-collector of taxes and customs for West Bay. He was a member of the Legislative Assembly, serving his district for 3 terms, in 1957 through 1959, 1963 through 1965, and in 1966 through 1968. He was the first Deputy President of the LA and chaired the Cayman Islands branch of the Parliamentary Association. He served on various boards, committees, and tribunals. He was appointed Justice of the Peace in 1961 and received his OBE in 1978. He was a member, elder, and treasurer of the West Bay, now John Gray Memorial Presbyterian Church. Mr. Ebanks was married twice, to Ina Nee Ebanks for 48 years and to Iola Nee Bodden for the last 8 years of his life. He had 4 daughters. He was a kind and considerate man, always willing to help those less fortunate than himself.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked, you can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Orrett Conner, and we have members of the Cayman Islands National Party either on the phone or in the studio with us. In the studio, we have Miss Julia Hunter, who's the Cayman Islands National Party's candidate in the constituency of West Bay West. Also in the studio with us, Mr. Michael Myles, who's contesting the seat for Prospect. And on the phone line, we have the leader of the Cayman Islands National Party, Mr. Dan Scott. I want to remind our listeners and our viewers, if you have any questions or comments, please convey them via our WhatsApp number. That is 925-3261. 925-3261, and I will then relay your comments or your questions on to our panelists as well. So, first of all, we're going to go to the phone lines. Mr. Scott, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor. My apologies, I'm not there with you. I'm actually over in the Brac, where I last had the great opportunity to spend some time with you, but we're still over here and enjoying it. And also to Miss Julie and Mr. Michael, good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, doing
morning,
really
Don. How are you?
Doing well. Had a wonderful Easter break here in the Brac, and that was most enjoyable. So I trust everybody again had a blessed Easter.
Yes, it was. I did take a couple of days off for Easter, and that was so good. My grandson is here with me from the UK, so I was able to take him and my granddaughter to the beach on Monday, so that was excellent. I went to church on Friday and Sunday, and we had wonderful Easter services starting from sunrise. Very good. And we needed that break. We needed that.
Certainly. So, Mr. Scott, I don't know how you want to kick the discussion off, but I think people are extremely curious about your recently released manifesto. So if you wish, we can kick off the discussion by talking about your manifesto.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Conner. And again, we do appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you and also with our listening public. We have, as you've rightly pointed out, recently delivered, as we promised, our manifesto. And I think as folks have given us feedback on it, the thing that they've really appreciated and enjoyed is that it was a manifesto well laid out and one that was driven based on solutions. And as we spent time as a party and as members engaging with our constituents across the three Cayman Islands, as we'd said from the beginning, it was important for us to spend time listening, understanding what the priorities and the concerns of our country was. And we did that, and we also spent time together as a party working with subject matter experts and developing solutions and practical solutions that are doable, not things that are vague or indeed on the other side, not things that are pie in the sky. So we're really pleased with the final product, and it is online. We can get it, as well as the other thing is reaching out to either one of our candidates. It's available there. So that at a high level is where we're at on our manifesto. And as I said, we've had some great feedback on it, as it is a document very focused on solutions. And I'm particularly pleased because for us in the sister island, it also has a specific section as it relates to the things that we will be focused on within the sister islands.
Okay.
So I don't know if my other colleagues had anything they wanted to add to it.
Mr. Myles?
Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed because the manifesto, as Dan said, is from the people. We attack this very differently. I've seen manifestos for the last 30 years, certainly as a voter, but you know, our sort of approach to this has been about what and how can we serve people better. And therefore, in January, we commissioned an island-wide survey that all of our constituents had an opportunity to contribute to, and the manifesto came out of all of that. And it's really a blueprint for people and of the people. I think another sort of drive for the manifesto for us was also about how do we link, you know, strategies to what people want, that are common sense, as Dan said, that are not pie in the sky stuff, that is not going to cost our country, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars, that's not going to eat up the budget. But how do we change, you know, policy? How do we change laws? How do we implement regulations that are currently impacting our people's lives, and that would make it somewhat easier for people to advance? And that's what's in our manifesto, from immigration to education to, you know, waste management. All of it has been more common sense rather than, you know, attacking this from, you know, we're going to spend another $1 billion on, you know, this wish list, and all we're going to be doing is running for the next election. None of our team is actually running for, you know, the next 4 years. We want to solve people's problems today. So that's what the manifesto sort of encompass for us, because it's about people.
Okay. And Ms. Julie, the manifesto itself also cover constituency issues specific to your constituency as well. You want to speak a little bit about that?
Well, what we did is, like Michael said, we asked our constituents, and then we had a list, you know, start from 1 to 5, the things that were of utmost importance to our constituents. So we zeroed in on those, of course, first. And we all know what the big ticket items are.
Yep.
And most of the constituents said the same thing we were saying, you know, because we're all residents, you know, so we feel the same thing. But what we did as well was we looked at the things that we could accomplish easily, like the low-hanging fruit, the things that we could just almost immediately put in place. And like Dan said, we've been working on those for several months, all the things that we needed to do to get those things in order and get them prepared and, strategize on the solutions that are viable, not things that's going to, of course, we all know that we have looming over our heads this 26 million deficit. So it's not like we have a whole bunch of money to work with, but we do have to get the country back in order. So we have things to do that we need to do immediately. And those are the things that we've been working on, so that when we are elected, we can on day one say, this is what I'm going to do within the first 30 days. This is what I'm going to do within the first 60 days. This is what I'm going to do within the first 90 days. We have all those things in place. And we are prepared to roll those out as soon as we get elected, because of the fact that we've been working on these solutions over the last months, I would say 6 months, a year, those have been working on. So we have all those in place. And, the cost of living, of course, OC, is one of the biggest ticket items. Everybody's saying, what are you guys going to do to drive costs down? It's, we feel like we're stifling, and all of us feel that way, some more than others. And those are the things that we are going to be working on immediately to drive down costs, with some hopefully simple solutions that we are bringing forth. And they are all in our manifesto,
Okay, folks, including Mr. Scott, as you know, we're going to go to our 8 o'clock news. I'll let Paul discuss with you the logistics, whether or not we hold you until after the news or whether or not we call you back. Folks,
Okay.
For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conner. Radio Cayman time check now, 8 a.m. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Change is in the bag at Foster's. We've taken an important step in our commitment to a cleaner, greener Cayman by removing single-use plastic bags from our checkouts. Bag for better with our durable, cost-effective, reusable bags, thoughtfully designed to help reduce plastic waste and protect the natural beauty of our islands. By choosing reusable and using it often, you become part of the bigger picture, a community-driven effort to reduce waste and care for our environment. Every small choice adds up to something greater. So bring your bags back and we'll make a real impact together. Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Cayman Cycling, a local sporting organization, says its members are, quote, devastated and hearts are heavy with the tragic loss of Per Undheim, who was killed after being hit by a car early Monday morning while on a ride. Cayman Cycling says thoughts and prayers are with his wife, his children, and all his family during this, quote, incredibly difficult time, adding that there are, quote, no words to adequately express the magnitude of the grief. The organization is also wishing a speedy recovery to the other cyclist involved in the accident as he recovers from his injuries. Mr. Undheim was struck just before 6 a.m. on Monday along Boddentown Road near Lake Destiny Drive. A 33-year-old man has since been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter, causing death by dangerous driving, and other traffic offenses related to the incident. In other news, Cayman will soon be marking the second observation of Emancipation Day since its reinstatement on the public holidays calendar.
We had such a tremendous public outpouring last year who've been advocating for the reinstatement of Emancipation Day. We were able, with, of course, the support of Cabinet, to put it back on the calendar of events. So this year we have a whole schedule of events. Starting first on May 2nd, we're having our 3-4-5 day.
Tanisha Barnes with the Ministry of Culture invites all residents on the day to dress in their Caymanian proud shirts, national dress, or wear blue, white, or red to show national pride. This will be followed up by Cayman Carnival Junior Badabanu on May 3rd.
Because traditionally throughout the region, carnival is normally, done at the end of Emancipation as a celebration. So it all lined up this year, and we were so pleased to be partnering with them and to be a sponsorship. So that weekend, they've graciously come on board as part of the schedule of events.
And that weekend caps off with the opening church service at Webster's in Bodden Town at 11 a.m. Events manager, Ventisha Connolly.
I do hope to pack out that church. We've got about 150 seats, and we do invite the general public to come out and join us. There is limited parking, so if you can carpool, we ask you to do that. Really happy to have that be in Bodden Town, the first capital.
Emancipation Day is May 5th, and there will be a commemoration event to officially open the Emancipation Center, formerly the Pirates Week office, followed by activities such as catboat rides, maypole dancing, artisan corner, traditional games, heritage displays, food sales, and fireworks. This year's theme is Unity, Strengthening Our Legacy. The next production at the Cayman Drama Society is tackling a tough topic on theme.
So our play focuses on slavery in the Caribbean. It talks about different people's perspectives, freed slaves, some people who are still enslaved, the leading generals who have a high position of power.
The story is kind of driven by a strong group of warrior women. So it shows the strength of women.
Some of the actors there from The Ancestors, which opens May 15th. The show is running during the month of May as Cayman observes Emancipation Day. The Spot Bay Committee held its 4th Easter in the Park event over the weekend. CIGTV's Kafar Gustin has more.
Families enjoyed traditional activities such as an Easter egg hunt, musical chairs, and kite flying as part of the day's festivities. The Easter egg hunt was held in a special location referred to as a secret garden, and children aged 0 to 7 and 8 to 16 competed to find the golden egg. Attendees were guided through the Caymanian art of kite making by Mr. Phil Bodden and Mr. Virgil Ebanks before being given time to fly them. The event was free for the public to attend and was made possible through donations from sponsors such as the Ministry of District Administration, Car City, and private members of the community. The night ended with a mini gospel concert, which was followed by a fireworks display. The Spot Bay Committee is a registered nonprofit organization who serve the Spot Bay District by hosting events similar to Easter in the park.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Kersley Fuller.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Bodden Town, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Bodden Town. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Your voice matters. On April 30th, you'll be asked for your view on cruise berthing infrastructure. Would it boost tourism? What effects would construction have on the marine ecosystem? Can we handle more cruise passengers? Are there other ways to make tourism grow? On April 30th, you steer the country. Vote in the national referendum. Visit gov.ky/referendum to learn more.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather brought by our friends at CG Britcay. Present temperature 78 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 83. It's got some cloud cover on the outside, partial cloud cover. Winds out of the east at 7 miles per hour. Relative humidity 76%. The barometric pressure is at 29.94 inches and falling. Starting tonight, moderate winds and seas will prevail as the high-pressure ridge across the northwest Caribbean begins to weaken. Our forecast calls for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies, 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're at a high tide. Low tide will be at 12:42 this afternoon. High at 6:50 this evening. Low at 12:56 tomorrow morning. The outlook is for moderate winds and seas through Friday. Additionally, a slight increase in moisture will marginally increase the chance of afternoon showers by the start of the weekend. That, my friends, is your latest weather.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Brit K. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit K, where people come first. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, site screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and the Community Food Pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
Building a cruise pier means years of construction, traffic congestion, business closures, and lost jobs. And for what? A project that mainly benefits the cruise lines? Local businesses, tour operators, and family-run shops will feel the impact long before any promised gains materialize. Why should Cayman take on the risk while cruise companies take the reward? Vote no on April 30th.
Caymanians deserve better. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Let's quickly take a look at the traffic in the Georgetown area. See some light traffic in Eastern Avenue, Shutter Road, Seafarers Way. We got one cruise ship in port, so look out for visiting tourists. Lots of pedestrian movement in the Georgetown area. Of course, looking at the Bobby Thompson Way Junction, not much traffic there. Traffic slowly cruising up to the CNB roundabout from Huldah Avenue, kind of slowly builds up. Bit of a slow-moving traffic on Crew Road, turning north past the airport runway. Those continuing on to Roberts Drive, some heading on to Shedden Road and feeding into up to the Butterfield roundabout. Light traffic there as well. Traffic coming into the Georgetown area seems to be flowing fair to fine. Not much traffic this morning time, so things will be an okay day today until lunchtime, of course, where we will see a bit more traffic. So buckle up and stay safe. Once again, be aware of pedestrians. Those are on the e-scooters, e-bikes, bicycles, motorbikes. Be careful out there. Please observe the speed limits and let's have less accidents this week, all right? Your traffic brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers of planned infrastructure works on Prospect Drive as part of the ongoing upgrades in the Prospect area. Work will begin on the week of the 24th of March and is scheduled to be completed on approximately the 2nd of May. During this time, customers may experience short periods of low water pressure or service outages. The Water Authority will make every effort to notify customers in advance of any service interruptions. Please check our website and social media pages for all updates on service interruptions. Motorists are encouraged to drive carefully along these roads as our crew will be actively on site. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates the public's understanding.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Let me remind our listeners and our viewers that this is a paid segment. We have members, some of the members of the Cayman Islands National Party in the studio with us, as well as the leader, Mr. Dan Scott, who is on the telephone lines. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to our WhatsApp number 925-3261. We will then convey them on to our panelists. Meanwhile, I want to take this opportunity to give a big birthday shout out to Miss Wilma Wood. Miss Wilma Wood celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday from all of her fellow members of the Business Staffing Plan Board, saying happy birthday to Miss Wilma Wood as well. So we know that persons have already taken advantage of sending in their questions and comments, and I have shared one comment about the Brac and traffic. And Mr. Scott, I'm going to ask you, you can read the comment, and then since it's specific to the Brac, you may want to respond to it. And if Ms. Hunter and Mr. Myles wish to talk about traffic in general or in their constituencies as well, they may wish to do so. Go right ahead, Mr. Scott.
Thank you very much, Mr. Conner. And maybe before I do that, just a couple of things to give people some guidance on the manifesto for the National Party. They can also go online at nationalparty.ky/manifesto, and it's sitting there as well for easy access. The other thing I wanted to do was just pick up on a quick point that Ms. Julie had made in relation to the projected deficit for 2025. And that's one of the things that is quite concerning, I think, to everybody. And it was actually quite interesting, as I think yesterday Mr. Matt Taggart sought to try and allay the fears that wasn't a concern and wouldn't have happened on their watch. Having said that, I mean, he's really making every effort to distance himself from his progressive colleagues in both the Premier as well as the other two colleagues. And actually, that's telling in its own right. So for us, that's an area that we anticipated. We were concerned about it. Now it's proven to be the case. But switching on from that, and we'll come back to a bit more of that in a bit further on in the program, probably. But as it relates to the question from the listener, it had to do with the whole question around speeding in the Brac as well as loud music. And I think that's something that we do need to focus back on. We're sitting here and we would have heard over the weekend a very sad case of a cyclist losing their life. An automobile is a dangerous weapon when it is operated improperly. And for us, we are laser focused on this. If a person loses their life because of the way that these things are dealt with and the way that people choose to operate a vehicle, it's simply not good enough. And we're hearing all too many cases of that. We are, and as the listener had suggested, one of the areas that we are focused on is ensuring that we have technology, such as cameras, installed so we will be able to identify who it is that is breaking the law. And indeed, folks, the other part of it is enforcement. It's ensuring that they're held to account and that we're taking them off the road before they get a chance to harm someone else. So that's an area we are focused on. There's frankly no excuse for this sort of behavior. And as the folks, my colleagues in the National Party across the 3 Cayman Islands, again, our heart goes out to the precious family who's lost this loved one. And these things are avoidable, and we need to put a stop to it. And we will make every effort as soon as we are elected to do just that. So we thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you.
And one of the things, OC, talking about crime, that's one of our main concerns that I've had in my constituency. And when you hear about a car getting stripped overnight in a person's yard, it's hard to believe, right? But these kind of things are happening. When they get up the next morning, nothing is left on the car of value. It was stripped through the night, right? But, when I looked at the fact that I put up my election signs, 2 of them were vandalized. I still have not gotten any feedback at all from the police, despite the fact that we had a witness who did the vandalism, and still that something as simple as that could not get solved. And the fact that I also had lights put on all my signs, and those lights were all taken down except one. They were all stolen during this election, right? It just really makes you know that having cameras and having, putting some extra security is so important. We really need to get that done, and that will get done. We will have cameras and workable cameras and enforcement in major areas. I mean, when you look at the UK, you can't get away with anything over there. There's a camera everywhere watching you. It's sad that we have to get to that stage, because Cayman was not like that before. But with the amount of people that we have living here now, and we've imported, sadly, with the importation of so many nationalities and so many other people, and that we've imported their traditions, their culture, their habits. We've imported a lot of things. Like, for instance, that loud music, that is not Caymanian. When you hear that, that is not a generational Caymanian. Mostly doing that. That is the other cultures that have come in. But what I am saying is that those cameras are of utmost importance, and I thank the caller for bringing that up, because that is going to happen. I've seen it. I've experienced it my own self. And, we have to have lights on all the time now. And before you could leave your door open, now you have to have everything locked and double locked and lights on everywhere.
Mr. Myles?
I think Don and Juliet said, pretty much where we are. There has to be some level of accountability, but I also believe that as a community, we have to get involved further. Yes, the police must be held accountable. We are giving them a lot of money to provide levels of enforcement on the ground. But I think now we have to now get involved as a community and start to look out for each other. That's traditional Caymanian as well, where we were the village, and the village looked out for each other. I'm so empathetic and send my condolences to the young man who passed. I knew him. He took him and his lovely wife took one of my financial literacy classes. I spent a lot of time with them. You couldn't have found a better husband, a better dad, a better citizen. Very humble, hardworking, and it's a senseless death. And as Don said, it is preventable. As I read the newspaper and saw that not only, was this man, horrifically injured and killed, but the driver attempted to run from the scene. I just
actually was successful in running.
This is, like, who does that? Like, you have to question, like, who does stuff like that? And he's impacted 2 children's lives, a woman's life who is never going to see her husband again, 2 children who are never, going to have their father beside them. So, it is senseless, that we're dealing with this. We do have, we have always been talking about this National Transportation Plan. We've spent a lot of money on drafting it. We have spoke with consultants, and over the last 30 years, we have spent millions of dollars on discussion papers, thinking about legislation, more research, more data, and now I'm hearing people talk about more data again.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we implementing it? I think our party is all about implementation, and going forward, that's what we intend to do. We intend to look at the National Transportation Plan and implement it, and certainly find the money to do that.
Mm-hmm. Would you advocate for a much more robust road safety program and organization? I believe the Road Safety Council may now be incorporated within the National Roads Authority. I could be wrong, but there were years ago when road safety was promoted so much more. I remember what was the lady's name? Eileen.
Yes.
That was in charge of it, and I did. This would have been in the 90s. I did
90s
a commercial, with my on the bicycle with the helmet and stuff, and that ran for years. But we don't see a lot of that now.
We don't.
Would you advocate, or would you push for?
I think all of that needs to be done. I think my biggest issues with how we do things in Cayman has always been that we sit for 30 years and talk about it, and then nothing happens, right? And when you've looked at past administrations, we talk about this, this road safety policy, but there's no public service announcements about any of that. We talked about, folks, being careful on roads. However, all we've done is widen the roads. We put more lanes in the roads, and we've provided no sort of enforcement. We also don't have driver's education in any of our schools, so you have a lot of young people getting out of school. The first thing they're buying is a very very fast car, and they're zipping through the streets, and we are not giving them the level of education to help them understand, as Dan rightfully said, a car is a dangerous instrument when not used appropriately. And you find a lot of these kids now, the cars are smaller, they're swifter, and they are just doting in and out of all of the roads that we've all created out there. So yes, I believe that our party is going to make sure that there are road safety stuff. I think what we have to now get back to the public on is that we have to start to enforce it. We have to start to make sure that there are laws that we are enforcing, that the police is on board, because we can put up a camera. I mean, let's face it, all along Shamrock, we have cameras. We have cameras in a lot of strategic places, and as Julia rightfully said, she's had, her
solar lights,
her light stolen, her, signs. her signs vandalized. Well, I mean, let's face it, why isn't it enforced? Right? Like, why are we just accepting that? So I think enforcement has to be there, but we have to start to hold our people accountable for coming forward and saying, this is not right. I am going to make sure that this doesn't happen again to anyone else. And until we do that, it doesn't matter how much law enforcement we put on the road or how many cameras we buy.
I want to zero in on 2 things that Michael mentioned. I do agree that neighborhood policing and neighborhood watch programs are very effective. And on that note, I want to do a big shout out today to our friend and colleague, a neighbor, Malachi Powery. Malachi is excellent on that neighborhood policing and watching. He basically runs our neighborhood watch program, and he does an excellent job. Malachi makes himself known to people, and if there's somebody coming into our neighborhood that he does not know, many of us would just let them drive by, but not Malachi. And I want to thank him publicly today for the job that he does for the Powery Road community, and to say that is very effective. If we could have more communities doing that, then I agree with Michael that some of these things would not happen, and we need to take more responsibility as citizens. I was talking to someone just the other day about my sign. He saw someone doing it, and he on another location, we had one report, and I was talking, they weren't willing to come forward. He would tell me, but he wouldn't tell the police. So things like that. And also I want to add my condolences to the family of the gentleman that died. He was actually my daughter's therapist. I can see him now going to the beach with her and doing her therapy. Yeah, so, personally, I just want to, on behalf of my daughter, just say a huge condolence today on behalf of her to his dear family. And, we're all saddened at his passing. And like Dan said, senseless. These are senseless deaths that could be avoided.
Okay. When we return on the other side of this commercial break, we know that postal voting, continues, to take place.
Today is West Bay.
Right. You have mobile voting as well. There are still some persons who are on the fence as to whether or not they want to vote. And I want you to address those persons, talk about some of the concerns that persons have expressed to you, in terms of their reluctance or hesitancy to vote, and how important it is to get out there and vote as well, and maybe even talk about the referendum itself, because there are those who say, well, I'll vote in the referendum, but I won't vote for the national elections, and vice versa as well. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Dan Scott, Miss Julia Hunter, and Mr. Michael Myles will continue. Please stay tuned.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I hope you're ready for change, because I know I am. Cayman ranking! Ah, yeah! Foot! Born and raised, Cayman strong. Northward roots where I belong. Cayman ranking is the way to vote. Ranking! Cayman ranking! Change we need. Ranking! For Cayman ranking! Change we need. Ranking is the medicine that Cayman needs right now. That Cayman needs right now. Ranking! Cayman ranking! Ranking! The future of Bontown West is in your hands. The time for change is now.
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, we have Mr. Dan Scott, the leader of the Cayman Islands National Party, on the phone line with us. He's over in Cayman Brac. In the studio, we have Ms. Julie Hunter, who's contesting the seat for West Bay West, and Mr. Michael Myles, who is contesting the seat in Prospect. So, mobile voting taking place, postal voting almost completed in terms of sending out, because there has to be enough time for them to be returned as well. All persons who are eligible to vote have been registered, including those who were 17 and would turn 18 by election day as well. But there are still some skeptics out there, some who are saying they're registered, but they're not going to vote. What do we say to them?
I understand. I'm frustrated too. I'm annoyed as well. You know, the last 4 years has been a pretty challenging time, I think, for our entire country. You know, we have our competition has been pretty great in the last year. We know that, you know, we've had the PPM party and we have a new form party through TCCP. But let's face the facts here. The CINP didn't start or create the mess that we currently have as a budget crisis or deficits. What has happened, OC, is that we have 5 people who've defected from the current government, and they've done it after 3.5 years of being in the government, and all of a sudden they now want to distance themselves from the chaos that has happened within the government. So, and then you now have a PPM party who have 3 members from the current government who is saying, well, it's actually, we didn't start anything, we didn't create anything, but they have a former premier and 2 senior members of the current government that have plunged this country in crisis. But no one is taking responsibility. So you have 8 people who has all defected from their current PACT government or UPM government. They've had so many name changes at this point in time. But no one is saying, hey, you know something, I am actually responsible for this. These folks have spent millions, tens of millions of dollars, right? We are now in major deficits. And none of the 8 of these folks have come out and say, you know something, I'm going to hold myself responsible. However, they're saying, vote for me because I can now be the savior of Cayman. Vote for me because I can now save Cayman, or I can now fix the problem. Mm-hmm. I want to remind Caymanians that you now have to vote your conscience. And if your conscience is telling you that this is wrong, that you now have PPM and TCCP who've all been part of the PACT UPM government, and we must all of a sudden now have said, well, the last 4 years didn't really mean anything. Let's actually vote for these folks because they're the ones that's going to save us. You need to vote differently. I am just as annoyed and frustrated and angry that we now have a lot of people distancing themselves and people are scared. I spent last night up until almost 11 o'clock speaking to 2 different families. You know, one has struggled to make sure that she can lower her house insurance because she need shutters in her house. The next one, and she's near retirement. The next family, we have a retiree in the house, and they're struggling to put food on their tables. And yet all people can talk about is, well, it's not my responsibility. I wasn't involved in the last administration, or if and this and that, and no one is taking responsibility. And these are people who are struggling to pay their rent. These are people who are struggling to pay their bills. I think it's insane. I think it's insane that we have that. So the folks that are on the fence, I'm asking you to look at our manifesto, look at the profiles that we have put up there. We have 12 really phenomenal people who have the opportunity to change this country, put back some integrity in this, and move the country forward. Vote for folks who want to actually talk about policy and want to actually implement change, rather people who want to get into the horrible parts of politics, who all they want to talk about the problems, or they want to get into character assassination, right? I have no time for folks who simply just want to focus on what Michael Myles didn't do, or look at my record. Look at the things that I have done. Look at the things that Julie have done. Look at the stuff that Don have done. And let's move the country forward. Let's get off the fence now and let's move the country forward.
Okay, let's bring Mr. Scott back into the conversation. Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Michael. I mean, I underscore his comments there. The reality is for our voters, if you want better, you have to get involved and vote for better. As Ms. Julie pointed out earlier, I mean, even as you see crime taking place within our community, we've sort of pulled back many people and said, I don't want to get involved. But change begins with you, the individual. And we encourage, as we look at our 12 candidates, as we've all stepped forward, all of us from very comfortable places, as one of our colleagues say quite often, Mr. Roddy, we didn't need a job, but there's a job that needs doing. This place is too special for us to allow it to continue down this path because of individual apathy. But we need each and every one of you on board, and together with us, we make the change. And as you've seen, the way that we have approached this has been to engage with the public, engage with Caymanians, and understand from them what are their priorities and how do we deal with that. Unlike the other parties who have simply said, here's a vision, this is what we are going to do, and indeed, even as they've crafted those visions, they have abandoned it, and there's been no transparency and no ongoing engagement. I have, for example, in my district, that there's been no meetings for 4 years to talk to people about what do you want? What do you want us to do? How can we best support you in the things that you need? How do we drive quality of life? This is a group that understands that. Our team, the CINP, they understand it. Every single one of our candidates are focused with a simple question. Everything we do must consider how does it benefit what we're doing, and we encourage again for those who are thinking of sitting it out, try something new, try something different, try it with a group of people who are proven to be truth tellers and have delivered in their own rights and have delivered in an unwavering manner.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. I know we want to talk about immigration and a few other topics as well. What I'm going to do is we're going to take an early commercial break so that when we return, we can go straight through to 9 o'clock without having to interrupt for any more commercial breaks. Paul, I'm throwing it over to you. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part. Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Let me ask you something. You think if we keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, anything can change? No, brother. Cayman needs change. We deserve better. And I say no more. Caymanians are not for sale. Real change comes from hard work and investing in our people. And the time for change is now. And I will deliver the change we need. Ranking is the one for we. Give him the vote and you will see.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Michael Myles, Miss Julia Hunter, and on the phone lines Mr. Dan Scott. He's the leader of the Cayman Islands National Party. Miss Julia Hunter seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay West for the Cayman Islands National Party, and Mr. Michael Myles seeking to represent the constituency of Prospect for the Cayman Islands National Party as well. So many other things that we want to talk about, but we know that one that is resounding throughout the campaign process is the whole issue of immigration. So I'm going to throw the mic over to the three of you.
Yeah.
OC, before we get into that,
Sure.
I just want to just zero back on the reluctance to vote. I've come across a lot of young people that, said to me, they're not voting. They don't want to get on the, some of them saying it's because they haven't registered because they don't want to be on the list for jury duty, and I've said to them, but yet they're the same young people that are saying nothing is happening for them. So I've said to them, you can't have it both ways. You need to get involved in your country. If you want to see change, you want to see a new direction for West Bay. I zero in on West Bay. And, they pointed out all the things that they have been looking for over the last few years that they have not seen. I said, but if you want to see all those things come to pass, you need to get involved in your country. You can't tell me on one point that you want all these things to happen, but you're not willing to even vote or register to vote just simply because you don't want to be on the jury duty list. That's not good enough. And I just want to remind voters, of course, we are not just voting on candidates. We are voting on three really, really important issues for those referendum questions. So we need to balance all of that with the fact that this is an important election. And last time we only had 70% turnout. And I just want to really encourage our voters to come out this time and vote. I was campaigning late last night, and that was one of the things I said to one of the young ladies, and she said to me, I didn't vote in the last election, and I'm not sure that I'm going to vote in this one either. And I spent a lot of time talking to her about this. because it's so important that we get involved. We cannot see change. Like Michael said, we have two parties that basically trying to distance themselves from all the things that have happened, but yet, and we want change, but we're not willing to make that change happen. We can't do the same thing continuously and expect a different result, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, so maybe...
immigration is...
I think Mr. Scott was saying...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Yeah, so maybe to add to that, folks will make the comment that I do not want to register because I don't want to be on jury duty. Reality for us is we have been blessed as a country, as a people. We have freedom, and none of our young people have had to go to war to fight for that freedom. I ask that we make sure where we have and where we're able to carry out our civic responsibility that we do that. We take that on not as a burden, but as an honor that we can make a difference, including jury duty. It is important that we are part of the process in all aspects of our community and our society. And we are the ones, it's so important when you look at jurors to make sure that we are involved as part of that, as well as they seek to administer justice in our country. But let us again remember, someone went to war and fought for our freedom. We're not being asked to do that. What we are being asked is to exercise our democratic right, and it is important for us to step up, stand up, and do just that.
Yeah.
Mr. Myles,
Yeah, I agree with Don. And Julie, it's not right for someone to say that they're simply not going to vote because, well, I just don't want to be on jury duty. But getting back to our immigration reform, we've had several very large projects built in this country. We have one that possibly it's going to come online either by the end of this year, which is the Grand Hyatt, and we more than likely will have almost 500-600 people that will probably be employed in that. And there's been no discussion about where those people are going to come from. Yet we have a growing, last statistics that I saw was 5% unemployment, but in a very small country like ours, that's a huge ripple effect.
That's a huge effect.
We also have a growing poverty line in Cayman. We have certainly a growing welfare line in Cayman. Our crime statistics is on the rise. We've just given the police department another $7 million plus. That's not because they simply, just needing more money. It's because they are understaffed and are fighting crime. My issue has always been, why haven't we not had a plan in place? We knew that the Grand Hyatt was coming online. We knew because it all went through planning. Yet we've not done anything yet to train up people. And here's what's going to happen, OC. We're going to wait until that's open. And then here's what the Grand Hyatt's going to do. They're going to overwhelm our immigration department with hundreds of work permits. And we're going to be forced to give it to them because we don't have the Cayman people who are trained to take on those roles. And they're going to justify all of it, right? They're going to justify all of it that, well, Caymanians aren't trained, so we need these work permits. And I think it's wrong, right? We have the mandolin that's going up in Bordentown. We know that it's coming online. We know that it needs to be staffed. We know that people in the Bordentown, North Side, and Eastern districts, we know that some of the highest population of young people are unemployed in those districts. Yet we've not said we now need a national training program to make sure that those kids are fitting in to a number of different jobs that are being created by our economy. It is wrong for us not to have a plan. And that's why I've said, please read our manifesto. I believe the manifesto, it is going to be the blueprint to move our country forward because it's written by the people. Everything of what people have asked for, we have put on paper because the goal has always been, let's focus on building Caymanians. If we are not doing this, then we are wrong. We've put the country, at the end of the day, we've had successive governments who've plunged this country into levels of risk that we should not have been. We now need to move on from this, from these two parties, and we have to now elect people who are more than capable of running the country.
And Michael, just to add to what you're saying, when all these approvals are given for these hotels, I understand that you can't go to the Indigo. Just take the Indigo, for instance. I haven't been there, but a number of people have said to me in my campaigning, I am so disappointed that as I walk in, another hotel has opened again, and I can't see a Caymanian on any level there.
And
You've
you're
been
right.
there.
I've been
Right.
there.
And so I'm saying, when we give all these permissions for all of these big businesses to open in these big hotels, I mean, it should be a prerequisite that you have to have a training program, you have to have job fairs. If there's 200 Caymanians that are unemployed, that have been in the tourism industry, those are the first people that you must hire.
Yep.
You know, all these concessions that we're giving. And
Millions.
what are we seeing as Caymanians for this? What are we seeing? We are seeing nothing of value for our Caymanian people from these entities. You know, you're talking about the Grand Hyatt. I mean, months and months ago, over a year ago, they should have started saying, you know, I'm going to need 50 waitresses. I'm going to need 10 bellmen. Who do you have in your pool at work? Contact the work department. If not, then training programs should have been put in place. You have one of the most versatile training programs. Have you been asked at all to train anybody in Inspire Cayman for these businesses coming online? No.
We've never been contacted. What we have done, what my center have done, is looked at what projects are out there, and we're sitting up with young Caymanians and guiding them to where the careers are. Because, again, successive governments, we've not said to our children the hospitality industry is a viable career. It have human resources in it, accounting in it, IT in it, and all of these sort of careers, right? So we now have to focus on how do we get our people back to work? How do we get our people not just a paycheck, but really good salaries where they can take care of themselves? And that's what CINP has always been about. I will focus again, OC, that in the last 4 years, we've had several different changes of government, from PACT to UPM, and now we've had a splinter off to TCCP and PPM. None of these organizations have come out and said, we have not gotten this right. We were wrong. We should have focused more on building our people. It is wrong. And if we are going to vote for that, I'm saying to Caymanians, we deserve better, and we now have to vote for better.
Okay, we're going to be going to wrap up pretty soon. Just one person wanted to point out that there is driver's education within schools that is run in conjunction with the Department of Vehicle and Driver's License as well.
Really? And who goes to that? I've never even heard of it.
Mm-hmm. I guess
that would need to be more publicized.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to give each of you an opportunity for some closing comments, and then we'll have your leader, Mr. Dan Scott, have the final word, starting with you, Mr. Michael.
I believe that we have an opportunity as a country now to move the country forward. I'm asking every citizen out there to vote for the Cayman Islands National Party. I believe that our party have some of the best caliber people to ensure that Caymanians are put first. We have a plan. We've put the plan on paper. The plan is now distributed to as many members in our community. Every member in our communities have had an opportunity to contribute to the plan. I believe that if we do not do this, we are now hanging from a cliff. Successive governments are going to continue to plunge this country further. We are going to sell this country out. We are not going to ensure that our children and grandchildren have anything left. And what is going to happen is that the majority of Caymanians are going to be in poverty or on some level of welfare. Okay. We have seen it in the Brac. We are now seeing it trickle over in Grand, that we now have millions of dollars being spent on welfare every year. We can change that. I'm asking everyone to vote for the Cayman Islands National Party.
Ms. Julie?
Yes, thank you, Michael. So well said, and I just want to agree with all that has been said. West Bay, talking directly to you this morning, you know where we are. You know that you have not had proper representation for the last 8 to 12 years, and you know why. I don't need to sit here and point that out this morning. But I just want to say that we need to take our country, our district into a new direction. And I'm asking you to support not only just me, but our entire party, because we do have a plan. We have solutions that we're going to put forward on day one, and you will not be disappointed in our leadership. You've had successive governments that have failed. We just got through talking about the failure to plan, and we all know that when we fail to plan, it's failure on every point. I was talking just last night to a young lady that's unemployed. She could be one of those that were hired into the Indigo. I mean, it's just so many things I'd like to say right now, but just suffice it to say that I'm just asking you to come out and vote. Don't be like last time and 30% of you stay home, because that's just not good enough. Let's exercise our democratic right. Let's move our country forward. We can do this. We need a new direction, but we can only have a new direction if you have new leadership. If you vote for the same leadership that you've had, then you will get the same results.
Okay, Mr. Scott, final word, please.
Yes, thank you so much again, Mr. Conner, and thank you to Ms. Julie and Mr. Michael. I think, as they both said, this is a chance to change the trajectory of where we are going, change the direction. We look around and we know our people need help, and as a government, we will provide them the support to get that, and we will transform this together and give them the opportunity in the short term that they need, because many of our people are struggling. It has been falsely said that we are going to cut benefits and all these things for Caymanians. Quite the contrary. We are going to empower, we are going to support, and rather than these giveaway concessions to wealthy developers, we're going to focus those things on our Caymanian people. Let us also remember that we cannot have a heart of gold if we do not have gold. And the challenge that we have is the way that they have mistreated the finances in this country. We are headed down a road that we will not have the means. We will have a throwback to 2009, 2010, when the current premier, as deputy premier, tried to balance this budget on the back of hardworking civil servants when they took away the 3.2% funding that had been given to them. We can't go back there. So let's plan for a new way forward, not only hope for it, let's vote for it. I encourage you all to join and vote for the Cayman Islands National Party come April 30th. And may God bless each and every one of you, and may God bless these, our beloved Cayman Islands.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Scott, Mr. Myles, and Ms. Julia Hunter. Thanks for being here. Looking forward. Still have 7 days. I'm sure we're going to have more conversations, within that time period as well. We're going to go to headline news now. When we return, we will have another candidate in the studio, independent candidate seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our upcoming general elections, none other than Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The proceeding was a paid political broadcast.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The National Gallery is looking for artists to participate in the upcoming 4th Cayman Islands Biennial. The exhibition will be coming to the gallery and partner venues around the country in September. The deadline to submit is May 2nd, and for more information, you can visit nationalgallery.org.ky. Several earthquakes have hit Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, the largest with a magnitude of 6.2. Details are still emerging, but there have been several reports of buildings shaking. Officials say they haven't received any reports of damage yet, but they're warning the public not to go into buildings that could be unsafe. People ran from their buildings, according to the BBC correspondent, adding that she's, quote, never felt a quake as strong in her 6 years of living in the city. And Tesla boss Elon Musk has pledged to, quote, significantly cut back on his role in the U.S. government after the electric car firm reported a huge drop in profit and sales for the start of the year. Musk has led the newly created advisory body, the Department of Government Efficiency, since last year, putting the world's richest man at the heart of cutting U.S. spending and jobs. But Musk said his, quote, time allocation to Doge would drop significantly from next month, adding he would spend only 2 days per week on it after accusations he has taken his focus off Tesla. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or build a fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, in the studio with me, none other than Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, a independent candidate seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our upcoming general elections, just 7 days away as well. Mr. Ebanks, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Thank you very much, Mr. O.C., and thanks to Radio Cayman for allowing us the opportunity. Those of us who choose to use, the national radio station to reach our audiences, to engage. For me, Radio Cayman is not only the avenue. If you're a business and you want to reach the widest consumer base, it's not only the avenue that you trust in terms of national emergency or natural disasters. Its impartialness and professionalism helps to lend credence and credibility, especially to candidates at this time as we canvass, and trying to communicate with the populace as to what is it that we're trying to do, what we're about. It's the best way to extend both an invitation and offer that semblance of inclusion. So for me, whatever other options exist, this must be the first option. So I'm truly honored to spend my 2 cents, as it were, and put it in the public coffers.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that as well. We were just coming off the Easter holiday season, as well. We know your favorite sports, Barcus, had to be extremely busy, as well. What has transpired during that period of time?
Easter in particular has always been, I think, a special time for many of us, the Christian faith. Barcus gives, for me, space to reflect, let whatever transpires resonate, but it also a time to respect our historical and cultural preferences, to appreciate how much things are changing. This time around, the campsites weren't as busy as previous times. The amount of people who camp seemingly were probably lesser numbers, but still as enjoyable. For me, since the passing of Uncle Lester, it's not the same. He didn't go just the Thursday before Good Friday. Weeks before he prepared, and if he could have, he went from the Monday, and he would still be there, God's willing. And it's something about it. It's probably, as he shared stories, is probably as a child growing up long, walking the beach road, or what is now that, and overnight fishing, or fishing, as he would say. Making sure the sticks that they walked it almost to the reef to keep the lines elevated above the water.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the kawali or the snapper that might be running in the evenings. To see Barcas potentially being on the development side, it's not just offensive to cultural preferences. It's a recognition of the urgency for the political directorate. The next MPs, and prayerfully I'd like to be one of the 19, having the political will, the sensitivity, and the respect both for the private landowners, protecting their rights, but also having the wherewithal to negotiate and navigate so that Barcas remains in as undeveloped state as possible. That's not just a personal appeal. I have tried, and sometimes unsuccessfully, to not allow the emotion of what this is to inflame, irritate, annoy, incense some of your public presentations. But the logic brain and the emotional brain sometimes collide, but sometimes they actually coordinate. And here's an issue where you allow both to come to the fore. So when my opponent talked about developing Barcas as the next 7 Mile Beach and creating, the idea that, we're going to move tourism that direction, that's offensive. That's absolutely, utterly unconscionable. We have a need for future generations to have public spaces. If you've never been at Barcas, now it is probably almost as accessible as going to a playing field. And that may be good. But be mindful that we don't destroy it. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine is in Fiji right now and sent me some photos of an area. And I looked at it and I go, wow, that reminds me of Sea Pond, right? And if places can take their natural resources and use them, if they want to call them ecotourism, that's fine. But keep them in as much as possible in its natural state. But don't do it for tourism. Do it for posterity. Mm-hmm. Do it for the people who are physically present now to escape. I liken it to my enjoyment of libraries. There's an expectation that when you go into a library, you're going to respect the books that are there. You're not going to eat or drink, and you don't need to be in a reference library. You can just be walking in. But libraries are supposed to have a sense of solitude, of quiet. You whisper as you go into a library. That's what you do, right? Mm-hmm. You don't need to be taught that. But if you weren't, you'll quickly realize, wait a minute, there's a reason why it's not that way. That's different from the pool hall, from the football stadium. Barcas is like that in a sense. And we don't have enough of that. It's part of why when I look at what I would, as a prospective MP from West Bay South, want the next government to do. It has to prioritize a number of things. And we're not looking at the next election. We need to start looking at a long-term plan. We've talked about it forever. We have, in the form of Vision 2008, and the strategic plan that we had done for health. For those of us who've been around and actually were born, raised, and lived in Cayman long enough, we know that these things exist. So we have the precedent, but we also have good practices from other countries and even companies who've done likewise. Mm-hmm. You want to call them focus groups, you want to call them peer-reviewed, what doesn't matter. We have it. So if the next government would do a number of things, set about creating district councils. We've talked about it. I actually went back to some of my documentation. 30 years I've been talking about it. And it's been talked about longer than that. We have a 2009 constitution that brought it in play. Mm-hmm. But it's been lip service. We fleshed that out and we involve all of the community, not just the registered voters, not just the citizens. If you live in our community, very much like the CERT programs that exist, you get involved in your district council. God's willing, I'm elected MP for West Bay South. It is my role to fund and facilitate the district council, not to chair it, to be invited on it. It will give me an opportunity to hear directly from the community as to what the community needs are, to offer representation. And then the district council, and by extension the wider community. And I wanted to extend beyond West Bay South. I want to unite West Bay again, set that as an example to unify the Cayman Islands. We are, whether we recognize it, we're growing increasingly divided. That is not sustainable. A house divided cannot stand.
Yep.
You can find chapter and verse, or you can just look for personal experience. You and your partner disagree on something, and you don't come to a consensus or some sort of agreement, that thing will not get done. And if it gets done, one is going to resent the outcome, or both of you are going to be unhappy. Whether that's a marital relationship, business partners, two good friends, as simple as that is significant when we ignore it. So I want us to look at that as a priority. It would provide succession planning for future parliamentarians, but it will also invite a greater sense of civic awareness and education.
And participation.
I want us to also look at a few things, and I would like, I'm glad that we found, and Radio Cayman was a very affordable option to be able to pay, and this is a paid political segment. Happy to have done that. Glad for the financial wherewithal to do so. But I want to talk to some of the issues that we want to address, so that it shows it's not just West Bay South specific, it's not even West Bay specific. These are country issues, whether it's cost of living, whether it's immigration and housing and the like, because they all speak to our personal safety, security, but the country's social, political stability. And if the next government would consider a few things, fixing the election date. I think every 4 years, but we might, by consensus, say to 5 years, but fix the date so that creates certainty. You, the incumbent, know when it is. You, the person thinking of when you want to campaign, you know when it is. That's simple, but it is a quick win, and it brings stability and certainty.
And the option would still be there for early elections if necessary.
I'm so glad you said that. And let's introduce a recall component. So you, the electorate, looking at your parliamentarian, after some level of discussion, you give a person a chance. You bring them to the table and you say, let's say you're not performing with the defined percentage. We have the precedent with the referendum legislation. Enough of us don't think you're, whatever the motivations are, you can convince more of like-minded people. That, you remember Jerry Brown in California?
Yep.
How many times you recall? So we do that because there has to be accountability. You cannot, as a sitting member of cabinet in particular, and I want to emphasize that because that is the policy making arm, right? You cannot use for your political convenience one part of the operational manual and then discard it in another. So if the government's finances creates a deficit for the country and you part of cabinet, you can't say it wasn't me. You just can't.
Only Shaggy can say that.
And even then, these days, we question that. But I would like maybe to continue through you as you direct.
Sure, yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned your friend in Fiji, which prompts me to think about immigration issues and the fact that at one time Fiji was under a military coup, and the reason for that being that the indigenous Fijians found themselves in a minority situation, and that was the way that they address that issue. Here in Cayman, we have an issue of Caymanians, becoming a minority in their own country. Of course, we don't have an army, so we don't have to worry about a military coup. But people, when they push to their limits, sometimes you never know what they may resort to as well. So we could probably talk about immigration as well.
And as you shared about Caymanians, one very encouraging thing. I'm glad that I had the opportunity and the presence of mind and consciously did. I said this, it wasn't at the time anything other than me deliberately recognizing that this love that I have for this country is, at times, maybe, let me revisit that to make sure it's not unfounded. And between September of 2019 and June of 2024, I didn't physically leave the confines of the Cayman Islands, deliberately. But I also had a chance to reconnect with my friends, some of whom have been here for 4 decades, went to school with me, sometimes longer. Some were just new acquaintances for the last 10, 15 years. But these Caymanians, right, who may not have ancestral and generational links, have indicated then, as they have as recent as this morning, a love for this country and that concern about the potential growing social unrest, the divide that may be fostered out of a sense that, wait a minute, there's little hope. There's a sense of despair for them and their children, them as they age and their children as they come of age, for housing, what are the immigration. It isn't one segment of society. It isn't one sort of type of person. It's all of us. So we can talk about that with immigration when we come back.
Certainly, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Are you a creator or inventor? Want to legally protect your work? Be known for it? How about make money from it? Wouldn't that be awesome? Cayman is celebrating intellectual property this month, leading up to World Intellectual Property Day on April 26. But don't wait to join the celebration. Learn how to get your patent, trademark, design, or copyright registered today by visiting the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office website at ciipo.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who's seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our upcoming general elections. One of our listeners has written in and talking about the Barker's Beach area, and they point out that they want to know whether or not you would commit to ensuring that proper waste facilities remain in the Barker site year-round. It was quite adequately served for the Easter camping season, but there are commercial activities in the area year-round. It's very popular and well visited by locals and visitors alike, and usually there are no or very little waste facilities in place.
The short, simple answer is yes. Right? I'm glad that people like the late Mr. Rupert were a strong proponent. And through his lobbying, if we could use that language today, what was then the West Bay Action Committee and other citizens getting the dumpsters and the like in the area. I know in recent years, the phenomenal work of the Department of Environmental Health, they've gone in, especially prior to and during and after Easter, and did a waste collection. There are many families who would camp and they would rent those little portable toilets and the like, for their campsites. There are many families from the Purrs to the Ebankses who it didn't need to be an Earth Day. It just had to be a Saturday or a public holiday, and they would go and clean up. They weren't posting it on social media. It wasn't a political sort of campaign, and they kept the place clean. Not just because they may have owned the land, but because they used the land, and that was the respect. The commercial activities up there perhaps are things that we need to consider the use and to what extent, and to ensure that it allows the entrepreneurial spirit, to be harnessed, but in a way that adds, to the character, the flavor, and gives the country, another avenue to develop in a sense with sustainable way, not physical built structures as opponent was proposing. It is why when I look at the next administration, I want us to seriously rethink a number of things. I would want, in order to achieve that, to use the precedent that we did with Vision 2008 with the health strategic plan, is to crowdsource, go out to the community and ask for its input. Is what I intend to do with the immediate establishment of the district council for our district, and let that be a precedent for the country. But let's rename our ministries, and let's create names that are significant, not just symbolic, names that are indicative and instructive of what the country's priorities should be. With the greatest respect, let us not take the politician and cherry pick and name the ministries to suit that particular ethos or agenda. Not to disparage anybody. Let's keep it fixed so that the continuity is invested as it should be in the technical expertise of our civil servants. As politicians, we come and go. We may have consecutive terms. It may be abbreviated by being voted in and voted out. I want that to also extend to whatever training and trips, overseas travel. Let that be to the civil service and the civil servants, not the politician gallivanting and jet setting. You can't spend more days overseas than you do in country, all right? With that, let's name them that they prioritize. For me, and it was just something, an exercise I did the other day, it'll be a working example fostered by input from the wider country, and then we cement it so that we take ownership because we have vested interest. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, for instance. The Ministry of, say, Agriculture and Environment. So we're looking at food security, but understanding that we eat what we grow and grow what we eat. Part of our initiative under the EAGLE initiative, the Education, Agriculture, Leadership, and Entrepreneurship. Something like immigration and culture. How many times have we heard either a clarion call from someone who says, people who come here, they're not acclimated, but are they given anything other than maybe an informal introduction? But what about us who live here as students? Do we not understand the importance of immigration and emigration and the cultural impact of people coming and going, but us as we going and growing as well? So let's align so that there's synergies, and we don't keep changing it with the flavor of the political directorate. Why not have education and look, science, innovation, and technology come together so that we're instructing our children now for the jobs of tomorrow that don't exist, and we align those synergies. Why don't we we talk about the pillars being financial services and tourism. Why don't we combine them? we say, well, yeah, because we know, for those of us who worked in that sector, many of our clients, they made that business trip for that business meeting and brought family or just themselves to unwind, because 2 or 3 days or a week later, they've got more of a recharge than they would normally. The incredible infrastructure we have, from the telecoms to the professional expertise, but also you ever took a drive up Barcus or a walk, or as we probably ride your bicycle, just that connection gives your mind clarity. They get that when they come here. They don't have to be worried about their personal safety and security. But that's the other thing that we gotta ensure that we don't take for granted. The next iteration of our parliamentarians must have a number of things. Above all, they must be trustworthy. We as a country, as the voters, must know that they can stay the course, they can stay at the helm. They never quit, run, hide, and jump just because somebody pops out 2 bad words and offends their sensibilities. Somebody does that, that person will be sanctioned, right? But by the country, because that is not the expected, behavior. But you ever played a football match and the other team beating you? I mean, they're just better. You don't walk off the field. You fight and you work hard, and if you get 1 goal, or you prevent 1 more goal from being scored, both fans, the fans of the team that are winning, and the fans of your fans, they say, man, you left it all on the field. That's what you do. And then the game of football is elevated because everybody saw the victor and the defeated victorious, because it was a great game being played. And then the next time, your opponent's going to have a little more
respect,
because they say, you got heart, you got courage, you don't quit, right? And that's what we need. And for me, I think I understand what it is, because I grew up in a household, in a community. I have examples of people, they persevere. The Cayman that I was literally born, right, 2 doors down from my family's home that I was raised in. That community supported each other. The community reminded us of the days of mosquitoes that, would say, pick up, carrier cows, as it were. But that community didn't give up. Things were challenging. We saw the resilience and the resolve of the country in the immediate aftermath of Ivan. We also saw that love and commitment from the civil service when that financial crisis globally impacted our shores, where people stepped up and say, well, what can I do? Do I need to reduce my salary? Can I put in more hours? That's the love for country that we have. But that's what is being disrespected by some fly-by-night who, may waves a flag and surrenders. Well, we don't do that.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks will continue, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, Cayman Islands, and especially the constituents of West Bay Central. My name is Jewel Hides, and I am candidate number 2 on the ballot. I take this opportunity to invite you to my final meeting on the 29th of April at 7:30 p.m. We will be at the Lamar Plaza in Parsons AC parking lot. Come out and hear the plans I have for West Bay Central and the wider Cayman Islands. It's going to be a promising and exciting evening. We're going to have guest speakers and we're going to have lots of information to share with you. On April the 30th, let's reclaim our future together.
Reclaim our future together. It's time to make a change that lasts forever.
For the record, with Orrett Conner.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, none other than Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, candidate in the upcoming general election seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. So we've spoken about immigration issues. We've spoken about barkers. One of the things that you mentioned earlier, Mr. Ebanks, had to do with the possible realignment of portfolios. And we know that the civil service, probably in conjunction, led by the Cabinet Office, will have some suggestions, in terms of, the possible alignment. You have mentioned some things that are extremely novel. I shouldn't say extremely novel, that are novel. And I have never thought about it before, not sure how many, but makes a whole lot of sense.
I thank you very much so for sharing that, and I just use that as one example.
Mm-hmm.
I will not dismiss that I may have, as my mama said, a good headpiece, but I don't have the blueprint and intelligence. And the more of us that are collaborative, the more of us that are willing to invite others to share from their experience and their expertise, we're going to have a better country now.
Mm-hmm.
I use the term crowdsourcing, not crowdfunding, crowdsourcing. You reach out and you invite participation from your community. We have many examples. The most recent is where, through the governor's office, we invite people to participate, whether it's the quote-unquote clemency that we offer or to be part of different boards and entities. Let's extend that. We had an example a number of decades ago with respect to the Private Sector Consultative Committee.
Mm-hmm.
But let's expand that even further to include all, and let it not be some sort of echo chamber. Let it not be representative of a particular sector or individuals, so that we, as best as we can, dismiss any perception of favoritism, create as best as we can, again, as much inclusion. So as we align those ministries, I get accused of thinking. I'd like more of us to do that. But we need to act. So let's not get bogged down in what they say, paralysis by analysis. Let's think, let's act, and let's do. And let's course correct. We know, for the most part, what the problems are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's harness the collective energies and intellect and enthusiasm and willingness of our populace, voter or non-voter. That individual who may be on the cusp of 18 years of age or either one. Everybody has something to contribute. So those synergies and those alignments are just something that I thought about for a while. I sat and I reflected and I go, this can work. Why can it work? It gives us efficiency and cost effectiveness. It gives us continuity. And I kid you not, I want the next round of parliamentarians to put country first. Stop the lip service. Stop and recognize that we need value for money. And whatever travel that you as Premier or Cabinet Minister, ensure that the training and travel and the attendance at plenaries is for the civil servants who gain that expertise and experience and builds that capacity within the technicians that is the civil service. If you're going to labor on the Westminster model, let's ensure that that competence and proficiency remains within the competence of the civil service. You as a parliamentarian can and should attend some of these things. But then every turn around, you're on a flight that you catch yourself coming and going. And I'm not saying that to be facetious nor jovial, but that's important when we look at the so-called pillars, right? Financial services and tourism go hand in hand. You're not just promoting your destination for one part. You're not just focusing on sports tourism or medical tourism or ecotourism. You're not just looking at cruise or stay over. You're looking at it as a product for one, employment and entrepreneurial opportunities for your citizens, the revenue that can accrue to the country as a result of its investment in infrastructure. I've shared with some of the closest that I want us to have a 100-year plan. And they would laugh until they understand that I was very serious. Because we got to think about our lives and our contributions as cathedral builders. God's willing, it'd be nice if I'm healthy, mentally and physically, to be here in 100 years. The probability is probably not. No man knows the hour nor the day. But it is absolutely essential that everything we do with the public's money is to the public's benefit. And not just today, but for future generations, because much of it cannot be undone. And even if you can revise or amend legislation or even repeal and restate it, whatever has happened then cannot be retroactive. You cannot undo, you cannot unring the bell. And that is what is missing, because there is no humility in many of us to the extent that it should be. There's an arrogance to be, the big bad wolf in the room, when all you have to be is humble and kind. I share that to ask people to recognize that as jovial as I may be, I'm very serious about service. As loving and kind and respectable that I would like to be, there's a time that you have to stand up. You can be still respectful, but assertive. And you have to, when you're a leader as a parent, or as the coach, or as that, educator in front of the classroom. You don't need to admonish people in a harsh tone. You don't need to be malicious. But in your assertiveness, you need to be competent and compassionate. We look at this country and we think that it's just going to govern itself, because it did long ago, but no more. There are other competing destinations in financial services, as in tourism. There are other places that enjoy the relative safety and security, economic and political stability. And because we've made some missteps, because we've been disappointed by some that we have either appointed or elected, but we course correct. As I looked at this foray into the elected politics, it's not a personal agenda, but it is a personal commitment to do what I have publicly demonstrated in almost 20 years of hosting this show. Hopefully, I was able to not only facilitate discussion and demonstrate competence, but a strong work ethic. Sterling effort, they would say. And that invites participation. It also recognizes that you listen with the intent to try to understand, not just to respond. But when you do respond, it's from an informed, respectful perspective. There is something that I think, in order to bring about this transformation, it's not change that I'm looking at. It is not just for West Bay or West Bay South. This is transformation for this country, because the next generation of voters are future parliamentarians, are elderly, but are youth who are quite still in mommy's arms, right? Not yet, tumbling about the house. They deserve better. Time for better. And I want us to harness those resources by establishing a local think tank. I've called it the Economic and Social Development Research Institute. And I want that body to be as independent, objective, and impartial. And whenever it authors and publishes something, it is from a peer-reviewed perspective within the body, and it critiques not just what government is doing or considering, but also proposes what it should do. It'll complement whatever information may come from any of the so-called special interests, the lobbyists that exist, formally or informally. And it'll critique that as well, because there isn't any ulterior motive. The only objective is to put timely, accurate, objective, impartial information in the public domain for the public to consume, and then for the country to benefit from that collective voice from this independent body, this think tank. And I wanted to look at a few things. What is a sovereign wealth fund? What would be the benefit of that? How do we go about that? I got down my glasses because the other notes that I had a bigger font, but if I can get them on, man. And to the listeners of West Bay South in particular, I really want to invite you to go to the polls, next Wednesday. And on the name, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, number 2, mark your approval. Give me a nod. Vote for me. You won't be disappointed. I won't let you down. I'm not going to be a career politician, but I'm going to work as hard for that as, what they say, a new broom sweeps clean, but this broom keeps on going. That is my personal commitment. It's not a promise. Promise is but a comfort to a fool. But in addition to the sovereign wealth fund, let's look at our justice system and our prison and how it functions and its cost, and maybe this idea of victim support and restorative justice. Something that, exists elsewhere, but why don't we consider it here? I think of the financial services sector, and because I'm a very proud member of the credit union, I question to what extent our parliamentarians are looking at legislation and the need to modernize that legislation that should the existing credit union or another wish to establish, it has the legislative framework to implement whatever management decisions it may decide. We're not telling it what to do. We're just facilitating its ability.
Yeah.
Right? We also want to
putting
look
the options on the table,
yeah,
giving them the options. Yeah.
But that gives us more competition as a consumer. We benefit more, right? We believe that these things exist in a vacuum. There's precedence elsewhere.
Yep.
Right? I want us to also respectfully look at, the civics education and training and the district councils that would be an avenue facilitated, but the think tank would be a means to help to formulate policy and to critique the benefit. But there are many Caymanians who live across the globe. Some are just across the street in the region, some are across the pond, some are in time zones so far away. So let's evaluate them. Let's reach out to them. Let's see if they become ambassadors. Let's see how we can leverage that, that voice. Maybe the seafarer of yesteryear, or that person who was in World War II who stayed. And, the idea of a national development infrastructure fund, the public transportation that is needed. How do we achieve that? The government has a body of information that they can look to, that the critique and analysis isn't, partial. It isn't something that they had to pay for. It's the civic duty, right? But national health insurance, right? And the need for citizens to benefit from it.
Okay, with that, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we know that today mobile voting takes place, including in your constituency, West Bay South. I want you to talk about being on a campaign trail, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, but also your words of advice to the voters, out there as well in West Bay South. Because while you talk about national issues, while you talk about West Bay in general, only the persons in West Bay South can vote for you as well. With that, we're going to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
Cayman's cruise industry can thrive without a peer. Instead of handing cruise lines more power, we should focus on better visitor experiences, fairer deals for local businesses, and smarter tourism investments. Many destinations are standing up for their local economies. So can we. Let's strengthen our cruise industry without giving up control. Vote no on April 30th.
Let's invest in what works. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who's contesting the seat in West Bay South in our upcoming general election. This person has written and said West Bay needs a trade school, a hurricane shelter, and a drug rehabilitation center like Caribbean Haven. The main reasons is because family members are not allowed in the program at the same time, and that could cause someone to lose their life. Any comments on that?
I thank that person for sharing it, and I would extend that to the Cayman Islands, whether it's on Grand Cayman or the Brac. We need those facilities and those resources for our country. Yes, in West Bay in particular, we don't have the hurricane shelter, the civic centers. One of the challenges from many activities, whether it's a campaign meeting or just a community meeting, with in the absence of a school hall or a church hall, there's little or nowhere else to have a meeting, right? But in that synergy and realignment of our ministries and portfolios, I want us to think of health and social care. The UK, I think, has it termed as such. But under that, your mental health, the social programs comes in under your Ministry of Health and Social Care. And you bring all of the sort of the component parts, all of the civil service personnel with expertise within that remit. And for drug abuse treatment and prevention, we need residential care facilities. But we need to ensure that just like a family member who can visit a sick relative in our hospitals, maybe even stay with them overnight to comfort them, not just your young child, but your aging parent. Or maybe it's just companionship for a friend. Space, being a premium, but if we can accommodate that. But especially when someone has a substance abuse issue, just that extra, knowledge of comfort and support may mean a difference. But I wanted to also extend that to our mental health care. Now, people might say, well, we can't afford this. Well, I would ask, can we afford not to? We have the need to build a purpose-built facility for the Sunrise Adult Training Center, but we also need to do something similar for our mental health and wellness. We have Point Siena, fair enough. But what we have at the existing campus of the Georgetown Hospital could be and should be revisited, separating the male from the female patients, ensuring the staff is as nurturing and supportive, ensuring access by family members. And also, if someone has an injury, we call 911. An ambulance is dispatched. Couldn't something similar be in place for a person who has, a mental health issue that the family can call other than the police? Right? We're making some strides in response to how we move about it. But when a person is having, as we say, an episode, do we not want the best care for them, the most immediate and urgent, but also in a very loving and nurturing way, and are trained, medical and mental health personnel to respond to ensure that that person gets it then, but is also safe, but the family is reassured that the person will be safe, is respected, and we're going to ensure that the well-being of that person is continued, right? So in West Bay, as in any other districts, now what we need to also appreciate is that maybe we don't need, a football stadium or a general hospital in every district, especially if we continue. And to my closest friends who still believe it's a good idea, I will vehemently, debate them on it. The one-man, one-vote in the divided 19 constituencies doesn't serve the country well, especially when it comes to the economies of scale. So maybe we have facilities that assist with education, and as we do with healthcare, with the district health centers, but we don't need to have, national institutes in all 19 or even, the 6 sort of, traditional districts. But we ensure that our people have access, that if there's transportation issues, that impediment is removed. And just like we move our children from, East End to their primary or secondary school, we do the same for, tertiary education. We give every opportunity to our citizens to be upskilled and equipped with the understanding that should they avail themselves, then whether it's employment or entrepreneurial endeavors, they have it. We look at the elections office as a fantastic example of how a country is mobilized, the training that happens, from the paid staff to the volunteers. I admire the work that goes into the preparation for an election, the execution on the day of, and our citizens for participating. They go, they do their vote, and then they go do their thing. And then they wait expectantly for the results, right? Some will celebrate and some will be a bit disappointed, candidate as well as voter. But it's done in a way that reminds us of the importance of inclusion and participation. And I'm honored to be given this opportunity. I didn't take it lightly. I'm not doing it for, as I said, the power, the pay, the position, the prestige. I'm doing it to be that individual who would facilitate and ensure that the country is given, at least with my effort and contribution, a willing opportunity to extend us as a country the semblance of inclusion and involvement, engagement, through being informed, so that in 4 years, as in 40, our decisions are positively impacting us now as it will future generations.
And you mentioned, the fact that the progression in terms of, getting out there, voting, going and doing your thing after waiting then for the results. And the other part of it is also that in Cayman we have a tradition of accepting the results, as well. It may be a little bit topsy-turvy sometimes in terms of forming a government, but that eventually, happens, as well.
Right. Well, there's going to be a coalition government.
Mm-hmm.
I must share that the world stage for these last few weeks isn't something that I have been paying attention to, other than the little bit blips and blurbs of the headlines. But Germany had an election in February. This is almost April ending.
And they haven't yet.
Yeah. I don't know how much we know about Germany, but it's a pretty important country in the EU. It plays an important role in the world economy. The German engineering and efficiency is well renowned. They are still trying to put their coalition government together. So if we take a week or a couple of days. Now, with that in mind, I'll say it this way. For my campaign, we have, as provided by the elections law, the polling agents and the counting agents. We have not deliberately assigned anybody to be part of the mobile voting. The elections office reminded candidates, please do not attend. I would not anyway, because I don't want anybody to feel intimidated, to feel anything. You mark that ballot in confidence, knowing that there's the competence of the election staff. I have all the confidence in them. If you're going to mark the ballot for me, thank you. If I get in, thank you. If I'm in and you didn't vote for me, I'm going to represent you, because we need to represent the country. But it also speaks to what I think we said earlier. We have that confidence in our elections. We accept the results. If someone needs to do something to get an upper hand, and it may be legal but unethical, that's on them. I don't want to be a part of that. And so as people mark their ballots, whether by their postal or absentee ballots, whether by mobile voting on that day, I have absolute confidence that they're going to do that, under their own volition, and I'm going to respect that result. Now, I want to thank the many, many people. There's almost 1,800 constituents in West Bay South. I would love to get to all of them. Got a couple of days left. The probability of that happening? No. But what is happening is each one reach one. The amount of people in West Bay South who are calling neighbors, the amount of people outside of West Bay itself who are calling. We're bringing real change, real solutions, real leadership, because we see the realities of what's before us. And this is an opportunity to engage and involve, to genuinely change and transform what we're about as a country, so that the next go around, we have a vested interest and a greater sense of participation and inclusion. And with that, I think what is perhaps most sobering and at the same time most motivating is to see the engagement. Now, many unfortunately choose not to publicly because of the way we've divided our country, but they understand that through my leadership, my candidacy, given the opportunity to be the MP for West Bay South, you have someone who stayed the course, and that's important. We have grit, we don't quit. Yeah, that's how we are.
Okay, Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, I want to thank you very much, for being here as well, and talking about your choice not to appoint any candidates to accompany the mobile voting. I had the opportunity to speak to one of my very good close friends, school friends, grew up together, and he was so complimentary about the staff when they came for him to do his mobile voting yesterday, in terms of their demeanor, the way that they treated him, as a voter and everything. And that is a testament to the type of system that we have in place, the election system that we have in place, that we continue to improve on every election cycle, as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I say that understanding that across the civil service, I'm a public servant. I've always known that. I think I was cognizant of that when I was in the womb. I commend our civil servants. I especially appreciate the work that goes in when we have an elections. So for me, there is no question that it's not anything other than the absolute professionalism. If I might finally just share with the listening public, not just the voters in West Bay South. We have a meeting this coming Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Lamar Village, right across from Mr. Garza parks his buses. So the school buses at the complex right there. Come and be a part of it. It is not just only a time of celebration, it's a time of, remembering why we have to champion our democracy, why through my candidacy and hopefully the next MP for West Bay South, you have an opportunity to engage and participate, and why the need for all of us, whether we vote in West Bay South or whether we are a non-voter, that your elected parliamentarian needs to do what's right for the country. So 7 p.m. on Saturday, the invitation is there. Thank you, and to Radio Cayman. It's unfortunate that the quitters failed to use this platform to not just inform the public, but to try to engage. That is an indictment on them, and it shows a growing, glaring disrespect for the country.
Thank you very much. Folks, I want to thank all of you who participated this morning, who listening as well. Again, a big shout out to Miss Wilma Wood, who's celebrating her birthday today. A very, very passionate Caymanian who's concerned about her country, the direction that it is going, who's concerned for the future of our country, our young people, the opportunities that they have, as well. She is not a politician, but in whatever venue that she is in, she is always advocating for Caymanians as well. So big shout out again to Miss Wilma Wood. To all of you, thank you. Remember to join, not Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, remember to join Mr. Charles Glidden Charlo this afternoon for a talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast. For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our